Welcome back to My Nudge Finance. Today, we're diving deep into something I think lots of people grapple with. That feeling, of being constantly broke, even when your income isn't necessarily low.
A really common frustration, yeah.
Yeah.
And as we've looked into it, digging through the sources, it's clear it often goes beyond just the numbers on your payslip.
Right. It seems to be more about certain financial behaviors.
Exactly. These underlying habits.
So we've been analyzing a whole stack of information to pinpoint these key behaviors, these, we're calling them money traps.
It's a good name for them because they really can keep you stuck, can't they?
Uh-huh.
Almost invisible habits that stop you getting ahead.
That's it. And our mission today in this deep dive is really to unpack them, understand why they're so, effective at keeping you in that cycle.
And crucially, give you some real practical strategies, things you can actually do to break free.
We want you to have those aha moments, and walk away with steps you can take, like right away.
To finally feel like you're making progress?
So the core issue isn't always about how much you earn then.
No, not primarily. What comes through again and again in the research is that it's often less about the income figure and more about how you think about money.
Your mindset.
Your mindset and how you manage it day to day. Just recognizing these traps, seeing the pattern, that's honestly the biggest first step.
Okay, so let's get into them. What are some of these common ones, the ones that maybe fly under the radar a bit?
Well, one of the biggest and maybe sneakiest is something called lifestyle creep.
Ah, lifestyle creep. Heard of it.
Sounds harmless, right? But it's basically when your spending gradually increases every time your income does.
So you get a raise, you spend a bit more, seems natural.
It feels totally natural. You think, I work hard, I deserve a slightly nicer car, or we can afford a few more takeaways now, or maybe some new clothes, extra subscriptions.
Little things add up.
Exactly. Each step feels small, maybe even justified, that hedonic treadmill idea. We adapt to the new level, and it becomes the baseline.
Right. And suddenly that extra money is just gone, absorbed.
Right. Precisely. So even though you're earning more, you're not actually saving more or paying off debt faster or investing. You're sort of stuck in the same relative financial position.
Just with more expensive stuff.
Yeah. A higher cost of living, essentially. It prevents you from actually building wealth.
Okay, so it's like being on an escalator going up, but you're walking down just as fast. How do you get off?
The most effective fix, according to the sources, is pretty simple, but requires discipline.
Okay.
Pretend your raise never happened.
Just ignore it.
Well, not ignore it, but act before it hits your main account.
Just
set it up so that extra amount, the difference from your raise, gets automatically diverted.
Where? Into savings.
Into savings, investments, maybe extra debt payments, somewhere separate, before you even have the chance to get used to seeing it in your checking account.
I see. So you create a kind of barrier.
Exactly. You build that cushion or accelerate your goals without feeling like you're suddenly cutting back, because that money never really became part of your regular spending pattern.
That's clever. Proactive, not reactive. Okay. What's another big trap? Debt seems like an obvious one.
Oh, definitely. And specifically, the trap of only paying the minimum amount due on debts, especially credit cards.
Right. The minimum payment, it feels like you're doing something.
It does, and that's the deceptive part. But the reality is, particularly with high-interest debt like credit cards, that minimum payment often barely covers the interest charge for the month.
So you're not really chipping away at the actual amount you borrowed.
Very little, sometimes almost none of it. The bulk of your payment just goes to servicing the interest. And remember, that interest compounds.
Ah, right. Interest on the interest.
Yes. So the credit card companies profit, obviously, from keeping you in debt longer, and making only minimum payments is the perfect way to ensure that happens. It keeps you locked in.
It sounds like quicksand, financially speaking. Do we know, how long it can actually trap you?
We looked at some figures. Take a, say, R10,000 credit card balance. If you only ever paid the minimum required, it could genuinely take you over 15 years to pay it off.
15 years? For R10,000?
Seriously.
Yeah.
And the truly shocking part is how much interest you'd pay over that time.
Okay.
Often significantly more than the original R10,000 you borrowed.
Wow. Okay, that puts it in perspective. You feel like you're constantly paying but getting nowhere.
That's exactly the feeling it creates. Perpetually constrained.
So the fix here must be more than the minimum.
It's as straightforward as that, conceptually. Pay more than the minimum. Always. Even adding a little bit extra each month can make a huge difference.
Like how much?
Even an extra, say, R200 a month on that R10,000 balance. It could drastically cut down the payoff time. We're talking years, not months. and save you a lot of money in interest.
So it empowers you to actually attack the principal, not just tread water with the interest?
Precisely. It flips the dynamic back in your favor.
Okay, that's a powerful one. Now, the third trap we wanted to touch on is more recent, but it's exploded, hasn't it? Buy now, pay later.
BNPL, yeah. Services like PayFlex, Klarna, Afterpay, they're everywhere.
And they seem so convenient. Split the cost into 4 payments, interest-free often?
Yep.
What's the catch?
The convenience is the catch, in a way. They make buying feel almost effortless, and crucially, they can kind of trick your brain.
How so?
By breaking down the cost, the immediate hit to your wallet feels much smaller. So psychologically, you might underestimate the true cost of the item. It doesn't feel like you're spending, say, R$1,000. It feels like you're only spending R$250 right now.
Right, that first installment is small, so the big number fades away a bit.
Exactly. Your mental accounting gets a bit fuzzy, and the real danger kicks in when you start doing this for lots of small, maybe impulse purchases.
Ah, so you're not just doing it for one big thing.
No. You buy some clothes here, some gadgets there, maybe some homewares, each with its own little BNPL plan. Suddenly you've got 5, 6, 7 different small payment plans running.
That sounds messy.
It can quickly lead to budget chaos. It's incredibly hard to track how much you actually owe in total across all these different services and timelines. It's like death by 1,000 tiny cuts, or tiny debts.
Okay, so it fragments your view of your own spending. What's the fix? Avoid BNPL altogether.
Not necessarily avoid, but be extremely intentional. The advice is to reserve BNPL only for purchases you've already planned and budgeted for.
So if I know I need a new washing machine, I've saved up most of it, maybe BNPL helps spread the last bit.
Potentially, if it fits your budget and you know you can comfortably make all the payments without stress, but it should absolutely not be used for spur-of-the-moment, impulse buys just because the first payment looks small.
Got it. Planned, budgeted purchases only, not for random shopping sprees.
But that discipline prevents the snowball effect of accumulating loads of small, hard-to-manage debts.
So looking back at these 3, lifestyle creep, minimum payments, BNPL temptation, they all seem to play on our psychology, don't they? Our desire for immediate gratification or ease.
Very much so. They often operate subtly, tapping into our natural tendencies. Lifestyle creep feels like rewarding yourself. Minimum payments feel like the easy option. BNPL feels convenient and less painful up front.
They work with our instincts, almost.
Which is why awareness is so key. It's not about saying you can never have nice things or use convenient tools. It's about making conscious choices.
So your money actually works for your long-term goals.
Exactly. So that extra income you earn actually leads to more security, less debt, more wealth, and less of that feeling, of being perpetually broke despite working hard. Understanding these patterns gives you the power to take control.
To build that stronger foundation. It seems like these traps often just happen. They run on autopilot if you're not paying attention.
They absolutely do. They become default behaviors easily.
But like we've discussed, just bringing some awareness and using a few of these proactive strategies really can let you take back the steering wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. Spotting the trap is honestly half the battle. Knowing it exists means you can choose to sidestep it.
Well, hopefully this deep dive has shed some light on these pitfalls and sparked some ideas.
We hope so. The goal was to provide not just the what, but the why and the how to fix it. Remember, even really small changes in how you manage things, they can add up to a really significant impact over the long run. It's about consistency.
Definitely. So maybe take a moment after this to think, do any of these traps resonate with you? Could you try implementing one of the fixes we talked about?
It's a great starting point. And, there are probably other subtle behaviors out there too.
True. What other sneaky financial habits do you think keep people feeling stuck? We'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, the conversation doesn't end here.
Not at all. This is all part of building that stronger financial future together. Thanks for joining us here on Mind Nudge Finance.